Hello, wrestling fans, YouTubers, and to my subscribers. This is Hollywood Eric 86, and this is the Payback rant from last Sunday. I'm sorry it's a couple of days late. I wanted to, do it in a couple of days, but I've been real busy, so I'm doing it now. And there's a few pointers for Monday Night Raw that I'm going to do, and it pertains to Payback. It's only a couple of days, but figured I'd do it since some of the lighting here is good with it being daylight and everything. And I'm just going to go on and say that, the Payback thing was, just whole thing leading into it was, like, totally stupid. Because, when it pertains to Shane McMahon running it, I mean, it just pretty much proved my point for WrestleMania when I deemed it totally stupid. When it would be useless to have a match because I always felt Shane McMahon was going to run Raw. That's exactly what happened. Well, the last 3 weeks of Raw, were pretty decent when he ran it. I loved it. It was good programming, great wrestling, new stars, everything, because you got Enzo and Cass coming in from WrestleMania. You got the Vaudevillains, still got Kevin Owens. You got Sami Zayn finally coming to the main roster and good. And it was good. Well, one of the things that was, leading into Payback, was, the tag team tournament and everything. And, I just, like I had said, I'm going to get more on the Shane McMahon thing, but I just wanted to get it out there about how, leading into Payback, I thought it was stupid that Shane McMahon, wound up running it even though he had a match with Undertaker, and I felt that was stupid. But on to kick it off here for the Payback rant, on to the kickoff show. And the first match of the card was Baron Corbin, the Lone Wolf, taking on the show-off, Dolph Ziggler. Now, I'm very critical when it comes to this because Dolph Ziggler has been eating shit now for going on 3 years probably, this month or next month, depending on when Vince deemed him shit. And now the fans have gotten to the point to where they don't care about Dolph Ziggler. Totally killing his momentum. And Baron Corbin comes in, wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which I was cool with because it was somebody new and it was NXT. I'm a fan of Baron Corbin. They kind of made him look kind of stupid towards the last couple months of his run in NXT, but that was fine. I found out that he's probably on his way out anyway there, but it's still, I was critical, but I liked Baron Corbin. His end of days is fucking sick. It's a badass fucking move. And he went into this feud immediately with Dolph Ziggler the night after WrestleMania, and they've been going back and forth, sneak attacking each other. All in all, the match was okay. It could have been better, but you really can't do much when the fans don't care about Dolph Ziggler no more, and they don't cheer much for Baron Corbin. And Ziggler wound up winning the match with a roll-up, which it didn't resonate well with me. Letting Dolph Ziggler win, yeah, but what does that prove? That's the second or third time he's been on the fucking kickoff show instead of on the main fucking card. He's a main event caliber star, and Vince holds him down. And he's still going to hold him down regardless of this supposed change that's going to be happening. Because I'm going to get to that here a little bit later on during this Payback rant. So just, bear with me here. But Dolph Ziggler wins by roll-up. I don't think he should have won by a roll-up. And I don't think Baron Corbin should have lost in his first pay-per-view appearance one-on-one. I think if they wanted to, it should have been a no contest to set up a anything goes match at Extreme Rules, or have Baron Corbin just beat him up before the bell rings, to set up something. And it didn't. They let Ziggler win. I was happy Ziggler won, but then again, it didn't resonate right because Ziggler should be on the main fucking roster, the main fucking card, not on the fucking pre-show. But anyway, in the words of one of my subscribers for Cryptic, I digress. But then pre-show match number 2 was the United States Championship match between Kalisto and Ryback. Oh my God, Vince, really? For the second straight fucking month, you put the U.S. title on the pre-show, or the third straight month, excuse me? Because I do believe you had that, but you had it under the February pay-per-view. Also, as a fucking pre-show. Really? You go from having the U.S. champion defend the title at the Royal Rumble when he wins it against Alberto Del Rio, to reducing it to opening it to the pre-show. And it's the second straight month that you put Ryback in the pre-show. Oh my God. Is it punishment because he voiced his opinion because he wasn't on the main WrestleMania card, Vince? If he was, you're fucking stupid. He has every reason to bitch. Every single reason to bitch. Because it was crap. He should have been on the main WrestleMania card. Ryback was a fucking beast back then. But then you rendered him useless. Then when you build him back up and you give him the Intercontinental title, you render him useless again. And now, ladies and gentlemen and wrestling fans and YouTubers and to my subscribers, Ryback now was asked to be taken off of television and could possibly be leaving the WWE to join Wade Barrett. Who the fuck can blame him? I mean, Vince has totally rendered him stupid. I mean, he goes from being undefeated and this monster to getting fucked over in a Hell in a Cell match, which, even though I'm a fan of CM Punk, pissed me the fuck off because it was fucking bullshit. You killed his momentum. Then what do? When you give him a world title shot, who the fuck do you feed him to? But you little pretty boy, fruity pebble bitch Cena. To Super Cena, and he proceeds to beat Ryback not once but twice. To totally kill his career. Then you render him a joke by putting him in Rybaxel with Curtis Axel. That was even more stupid. Then, when he finally wants to go back to himself, when he wants to leave Rybaxel and try to go back to being himself, he leaves TV for a while. Then when he returns in Las Vegas, he gets a standing ovation from his hometown people, and then he starts getting cheered everywhere he goes. Hunter built him back up to being the Intercontinental Champion. You promptly let him lose the title, even though I was okay with it because it was Kevin Owens, but you let him lose the title. Then you kept sticking him in these fucking teams that was stupid because Ryback don't need to be in teams. He's a guy that needs to be on his own for a while because he never fully got that chance. Then what do? You start to gradually render him a joke. And I started to gradually see that. Because he goes from being by himself to winning, and then you start to gradually make him look stupid. Now, I'm not going to rag on Kalisto. Even though I do pick on cruiserweights, I like Kalisto. But do I think Kalisto should have beat Ryback? No. No, he shouldn't have. No. Because I was actually hoping that there was some outside chance that Ryback was to win both times. What is your fucking deal, Vince? You want to make Ryback job to Kalisto. The first two times. The first time at WrestleMania. What the fuck else is new? You want to make him job and you want to make him look weak. But anyway, the U.S. title match, all in all, the match was, I thought a lot of the time was one-sided. It was dominated mostly by Ryback. But, of course, Kalisto hits the Selena del Sol on him. 1, 2, 3, and your winner and still United States champion Kalisto. You make him job again? For real? What the fuck what's the deal? I was sitting there with my brother-in-law looking at him fucking dumbfounded. We just couldn't fucking believe it. That's the best line that Tyrone Magnus had ever said when he did one of his rants about John Cena. And I'm sorry to take it in a big cliche, but I apologize, Tyrone. It's the best thing. That's all I could possibly say for that. We were just fucking dumbfounded because it was fucking stupid. And I won't rag on Kalisto because I was proud of him to be U.S. champ. Although my brother-in-law says that he don't remember a U.S. champion being under 200 pounds. Okay, yeah, he referred to a time in WCW when Kidden won the challenge for the U.S. title and he had to gain weight for it. Yeah, like I said, he rags on the cruiserweights. Me, I'm glad Kalisto's U.S. champ. And now, what I saw on Monday Night Raw, it's going to be pointless again because now, set up for Extreme Rules, it's going to be Kalisto taking on Rusev. Because Rusev won a battle royal to become the number one contender for the U.S. title. I swear to you, Vince, if you give Rusev the title instead of Ryback, that's going to piss me off. Rusev has already been the champion. He already had his run. You basically killed him by putting him in the League of Nations, which even though I don't like freaking Rusev personally, that was a stupid dick move because you want to kill everything. That's why King Barrett, or as I like to call to him, Wade Barrett, is leaving your company in a month. That's why you took him off television when they kicked him out of the League of Nations after WrestleMania. That's the reason you kicked him out of there, because he's going to be leaving your company, and he stated he wouldn't resign. Who can fucking blame him? All you've gradually done is hold Wade Barrett down. He comes in with by far the best group in like 10 years to come down wrestling's pike, in almost 10 years since the NWO. And what do? Even though I was not a fan of the Nexus until the very end, and I apologize to all those Nexus fans out there. I apologize that I jumped on the bandwagon the bandwagon way too soon. Way too late, excuse me. Because I used my little John Cena get out of jail free card, and I shouldn't have. I should have been smart, but I waited till the very end. But what do? When everybody starts to get used to him, you kick Wade Barrett out for CM Punk. Now, I've never been real critical of CM Punk because I'm a fan of the man. He is the true best in the world, regardless of what anyone says about how he left. I don't care. My brother-in-law has a distinct opinion on it. He's the only one that I basically listen to on it. Anyone else, I don't care, because I know the truth. He's the true best in the world. I've never been critical of CM Punk, but putting him in the Nexus and being the leader was fucking stupid, because you wanted to kill the Nexus. So what does Hunter do? He takes him to SmackDown, takes some members of the Nexus with him, and forms the core, and you kill that. Then you repackage him again to make him a beast, and you make him Intercontinental Champion all these times, and then you gradually kill him. Then when you make him King Barrett, when he wins the King of the Ring, what do again? You stick him in the League of Nations, and you kill him again. You gradually started to kill him piece by fucking piece. You kept taking the bricks out all the time till he fucking collapsed. All the damn time. Till you fucking killed everything that he did. And you never gave him the shot, because when you gave him the world title shot, again, you fed him Cena. Because that's all John Cena is a fucking career killer. He has this golden shovel to kill people and to bury their careers. It's like you fucking do, Vince. You got the golden shovel to destroy careers, like you and that stupid Vince Russo has. And I'm going to get to that son of a bitch here later, because I got a little something for that bastard. I got a message for that son of a bitch. But anyway, but that's why Wade Barrett's going to be leaving, because you don't care about your stars. Because the real wrestlers you hold down. Because you gave Wade Barrett one world title shot that I can remember on a pay-per-view, and you fed him to Cena. And you made him a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, I believe. 4 or 5-time Intercontinental Champion, and you never gave him that shot? Are you fucking kidding me? I can see why he wants to resign and leave. Because maybe you should watch TNA, Vince, because your chosen one, that you deemed one, Drew Galloway, better known to you as Drew McIntyre, is the current TNA champion. Maybe TNA, even though they're possibly fucking dying as I know it, maybe they're still smart on some aspect when you hold down your stars and they make them champions. Maybe you'll do the same thing you did to Christian whenever Christian left the first time with the TNA and was a 3-time NWA champion / TNA champion. Maybe when you re-sign Drew Galloway, if he ever decides to want to come back, you'll make him a world champion. Because that was actually the one smart thing TNA's done, is to make him a world champion, because he fucking deserves it. But anyway, back on the match for that, back on the rant. I'm sorry I deviated a little bit. But yeah, Kalisto wins against Ryback, of course, for the second straight month. Makes no fucking sense. I'm not going to rag on Kalisto because he's a cruiserweight. I'm glad he's U.S. champ. I've been praising him. But I don't like how he's killing Ryback. And now Ryback wants to be taken off of WWE television, and he's possibly done. I don't blame him. Not one bit. I don't blame him one bit. Now, on to the pre-show. Now on to the main card. The first match of the night. The number 1 contendership for the World Tag Team titles. Or the WWE Tag Team Championship. You got the Vaudevillains versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass Colin Cassidy. The clash of former NXT tag teams. This was going to be a barn burner, I thought. I was picking Enzo and Cass, even though I liked both teams. But about 5 minutes into the match, tragedy befell. As Enzo Amore was getting thrown into the ropes, his side of his head hit the side of the ropes, and his head hit the mat, and he went down and he hit the ring, and he went outside the ring after his head hit the apron, and his face hit the side of the ring and the match was stopped and deemed a no contest because Enzo Amore got hurt. Now, wrestling fans, and I know you probably already know now because of Monday Night Raw, he's okay, but he was carried on a stretcher, but he is okay. He suffered a very bad concussion, but due to, I thought it was scripted at the time, but it wasn't, because they panned away, they brought the stretcher out, and they carried Enzo out, and it turns out he just has a very bad concussion. But he was unable to complete the match. There was no winner declared when because the match didn't go very long because of the injury. But Monday night on Raw, it was declared that the Vaudevillains will challenge the fucking stupid-ass New Day at Extreme Rules because of Enzo's concussion. But the New Day did show that Enzo was okay and that he was up and about. But he suffered a concussion, wrestling fans. I wish Enzo a speedy recovery because I love him and Big Cass. They are fucking awesome. And he is they were my favorite NXT tag team because they were the coolest. How you doing? That's just a little, thing for Enzo. I wish you well, man. Hope you get better. I know that he wasn't on Raw Monday night and he probably won't be on SmackDown. I wish you a speedy recovery. I really can't say anything about the match because the match didn't go very long because Enzo suffered that unfortunate concussion and injury and the match had to be stopped prematurely. But, all in all, the match, I thought the match would have been good if it went along, but I really can't say much because Enzo got hurt. So, and match number 2 is the match that I wanted to see. Kevin Owens, the prize fighter, KO, and wrestling's worst nightmare and Mr. Wrestling himself, the true prize fighter, taking on Sami Zayn, formerly known in Ring of Honor as El Generico, and I don't care if I'm not supposed to say that or not. Fuck that. I'll say what I want. It's my channel. This match here was what, in my opinion, even though it was match number 2, I called to be the match of the night. Because I knew how these guys could wrestle. Because they were wrestlers. They were fighters. Just go back and watch the Ring of Honor history. They had classics from the time Kevin Owens turned on him when he was El Generico in 2009, all the way to the last battle in 2012 before he left to go to the WWE to become Sami Zayn. This match I called on the second match was the match of the night because I just knew it. Because it was straight wrestling. Straight wrestling. That's all it was. Owens and Zayn tore the fucking house down. It was the best match of the night in my eyes. Even though it was a second match at that point. Because I called it because I fucking had a suspicion of how it was going to end. Not the Owens match, but the main event. I already knew it. And the match was fucking phenomenal. There was high spots everywhere. Owens and Zayn went back and forth, back and forth. The fans were chanting, "This is awesome," or "This is wrestling," or whatever. And Kevin Owens again, Vince, fucking again, hits the pop-up powerbomb. 1, 2, and fucking 3. Your winner, and still winning clean, Kevin Owens. The prize fighter, KO, the man. Vince, he's never won by cheating. He has won clean and decisively every single fucking time. And you continually hold him down. And to Vince, fuck Russo, oh, you fucking bastard. I have got something to say to you in a future rank, and I got another Vince Russo rant, because you repeatedly don't want to keep your mouth shut. So, and I'm going to expose that bastard for doing something to one of my subscribers that he does to everybody who don't agree with him. And then he wonders why people still want to wonder why he's a fucking bitch. But don't worry, wrestling fans. I'm going to get to that rant here in a couple days because I'm going to read more about what that asshole said about Kevin Owens and about Sami Zayn and about us, the wrestling fans. Or the internet fans, as he called it, even though he used to predicate to those fans back then. That makes him a hypocrite again. But I'm going to get to Russo on a future rant. But this is directed towards Vince. Vince, you fucking scumbag. You need to fucking bring Owens into a higher regard because that man has won every single one of his matches decisively and cleanly. Stop holding him down. The man is a wrestler. He could make you some fucking money. Sami Zayn is the same way. I didn't care who basically won the match because I like both, but I was pulling for Owens because I am a huge Owens supporter. Because I remembered him back in Ring of Honor when he was Kevin Steen. When he went by his real name, Kevin Steen. The man was a bad son of a bitch, and I wish to God you give him that fucking package power driver. Because every single person he would fucking hit that with would be done. Cena's career would be over. We wouldn't have to worry about him. Roman Reigns would be gone. And we wouldn't have to worry about his fucking debacle. Owens would be the future. But more on it, Russo later on in another rant. But all in all, that match was great. That was the match of the night. And I called it before it even happened, even though it was match 2, because I knew how great that match was going to be. And not to downgrade AJ Styles, I just knew his match wouldn't be as good because of who he was fighting. Even though I was on his side for a while, but I jumped off the bandwagon before I knew it was going to sink. Because I saw the writing. Because Vince is a fucking dumb shit and he thinks we don't see shit. Or me. But anyway, that was the match of the night. Kevin Owens wins. Match number 3 on the card is, let's see here. Intercontinental Championship match, Cesaro versus The Miz. That match was good. And I mean, and it baffles me again, because here's another guy that Vince holds down. Another guy who has got the crowd on his fucking side with his Cesaro section, like I stated in the State of the WWE address and TLC rant back in December. Another guy Vince holds down. But I don't know, the match was good even though it was the fucking Miz. The Miz is the Intercontinental Champion. Who gives a flying fuck? I hate the Miz. I always have. He's a joke. It's a fucking joke and a douchebag. Do I think he should be in the WWE World Title picture? Yeah, because the man can be the man's talented on some aspects. The man can pull it off being a champion and being a heel, something Roman can't do. That I thought he could, because Vince, I saw a change in him. But then again, Vince goes back and predicates again, thinking it's gonna fucking work. But all in all, this match started after Kevin Owens decisively beat Sami Zayn. He brings in Byron Sexton, who he does not like, which I don't blame him because he's a shitty announcer anyway. To give him an interview, and he comes and does commentary during the match. Well, the match is going on. Cesaro's basically, it's a back and forth battle, but Cesaro basically was kicking the Miz's ass. Cesaro was in the lead in the match, beating the Miz up. Sami Zayn comes out there and attacks Kevin Owens on commentary. They're fighting back and forth. They're scrapping. Referee's still paying attention in the ring. Cesaro has the Miz beaten. And then the referee gets distracted with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens getting in the ring. And Kevin Owens distracts Cesaro. The Miz rolls him up by holding the trunks. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still your fucking Intercontinental Champion, The Miz. Oh my God, Vince, are you fucking dumb? Again, another wrestler you're holding down. Another one. Cesaro's one of the most popular wrestlers you have on your roster. He's been popular for almost 2 years now. And you still won't let him go for a championship, or at least let him be in the world title picture. Because you've stated in interviews beforehand, you don't see him as world championship material. Listen, bitch. Why don't you go back and watch Pro Wrestling Guerrilla? Why don't you go back and watch Ring of Honor? Why don't you watch Ring of Honor the most? Because Ring of Honor, he still holds the reign, along with Chris Hero, as the longest reigning Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. They had the longest reign of 363 days. Why don't you go back to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and see how much of a champion he was? All the other independent titles he won that you don't want to count. Because you deem they don't matter. Because it fucking does. Owens is a 4-time world champion. 3-time PWG, 1-time Ring of Honor. And when he was Claudio Castagnoli, Cesaro is a PWG world champion and 2-time and longest reigning Ring of Honor world tag team champion with Chris Hero, known as the Kings of Wrestling in Ring of Honor. What more does Cesaro got to do to fucking prove to you that he's championship caliber material? You already made him the U.S. champ, and then you didn't give him the world title shot. You tagged him with Tyson Kidd, which even though I don't personally like Tyson Kidd, the tag team got over, but then Tyson got hurt because of a botch, because of Samoa Joe, and Tyson may not ever wrestle again, which is possibly that he won't, but there's always hope that he might, but I don't think it's going to happen. Then Cesaro goes bye-bye and leaves because he got hurt, and he wasn't getting a bunch of cheers. He comes back and still getting cheers, has a Cesaro section, and you still don't want to give him a championship. What does he got to do? Does he have to kiss your ass like John Cena does? Does he have to suck your dick like John Cena and Roman Reigns does? Does he have to bow down at your feet and call you God in order for you to actually recognize wrestlers as champions? Because you have wrestlers who you fail to utilize, like I've stated before. And what baffles me is that I honestly don't think you're going to let The Miz, let Cesaro win. Because now Kevin Owens wants the Intercontinental title back, but after what he did during the match, it could be either triple threat or fatal four-way, or maybe Cesaro and him wrestle. Who knows? And if it's a fatal four-way triple threat, I got a feeling that The Miz is going to retain again if that happens. Only time will tell, though. But that was the whole point of him getting attacked. He distracted Cesaro. Miz retained. The next match on the card, Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. Well, this match was unique because I'm very critical of Jericho and the current character he's in. I hate him as the heel Jericho. Or as he calls himself, the best in the world Jericho. He needs to stop saying that. He lost that title at WrestleMania 28. Like I said, I don't care what the critics say. I don't care. CM Punk is the true best in the world. It don't matter if he left, walked out, took his ball and went home. I don't care how y'all put it. He is still the man who took the title from him. So therefore, the only way he can ever call himself that is if he goes to wherever CM Punk's at and beats him in a match. That's my opinion. But I'm critical of that character because I fucking hate it. I never have liked him as that character. I didn't like him when he was a whiny-ass bitch in WCW. I like him as the Y2J funny Jericho. But I also hate Dean Ambrose. So this was probably one of the rare times that I chose Jericho over Dean Ambrose. And I did. I chose Dean Ambrose. I didn't choose Dean Ambrose. I chose Jericho, excuse me. One of the rare times I chose Jericho as the character he's currently in. Because I hate that best in the world character. But this all started because, he was doing his highlight reel like always, and Dean Ambrose was a special guest, and Ambrose comes out there, and per the edict of Shane McMahon, Ambrose was given his own TV show called The Ambrose Asylum. Now, I personally thought this was funny. Because, even though I hate Ambrose, and I just fucking hate him, it goes back to the days when he used to slap fight, and it was annoying. And he was in the Shield, and I never liked him in that. He was actually entertaining. And I don't use that word entertaining very often because I don't believe in it. Yeah, wrestling can be entertaining, but Vince has already abused that word so much, I hate using that word. Because it's wrestling in my eyes, not sports entertainment. And I don't use it on this channel. I use wrestling fans or wrestling. Because that's what it is. It's a wrestling channel. But he was actually pretty entertaining. It says per Shane McMahon, the highlight reel was canceled. And he used the Ambrose Asylum. And that is what he calls it. And it was leading into a match. Well, the match all in all was pretty decent. It was pretty good. I thought it was really good. It could have been better. It really could have. But it was good. And it pissed me off because, again, basically in a lot of words, Jericho, job. The match goes on. Jericho uses the walls of Jericho and hits the lion salt or whatever. Then he goes for the lion salt up on top. He puts his knees up. Ambrose hits the dirty deeds. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, fucking Dean Ambrose. Really, Vince? You're going to make Jericho a job still? I mean, yeah, I could let go when he fucking fought AJ Styles because it was AJ Styles. They're wrestlers. But you make Jericho a job to everybody else, really? Yeah, people may have been pissed when AJ lost at WrestleMania to Jericho. I really wasn't. Because, like I said, it opens the door for a potential 5th match that may happen. Which it still might, because they still have unfinished business if something happens and AJ's ever champion or whatever, or if Vince ever sees that. Which I don't know. It's yet to be told and yet to be seen. But, all in all, I thought the match was, good. It was a lot of good, like they would say, high spots. A lot of action. But, like I said, Ambrose won the match, and it didn't resonate right with me. I didn't think Ambrose should have won. I thought Jericho should have won. But, something's going to happen now, because the next night on Raw, Ambrose comes out to do his Ambrose Asylum. Stephanie McMahon is his special guest. And I really don't want to get into it there because it'll lead into what's going to happen. It's going to lead into what happens at Payback. And I'll get back to that here in a minute because it pertains to that. And I don't want to jump ahead. So I will get back to what happened with Ambrose on Monday night with Stephanie McMahon. That's going to possibly lead into the Jericho thing because it's going to segue back into that. Then the next match is for the Women's Championship. The reigning and defending champion, Women's Champion Charlotte, taking on Natalya. Now this was an interesting concept because Charlotte, of course, was led by the two-time Hall of Famer and only 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, her father. And Natalya brought with her, even though he just got out of surgery for having colon cancer, the man himself. 8-time World Heavyweight Champion, 5 WWE, 2-time WCW Champion, and first Triple Crown, one of the first Triple Crown winners, Bret the Hitman Hart, and 2006 Hall of Famer in her corner. And I thought it was so cool because Bret, as is it's no secret, Bret's suffering through colon cancer right now, and he had just had surgery and didn't want to be there, but they wanted him there, and WWE asked him to, and he showed up in the corner of Natalya. Now, this match was good, but the ending was complete crap. Oh, my God, Vince. How many more times are you going to slap the wrestling fans in the face and make them remember shit that we don't want to remember? Basically, wrestling fans, what happens is that Charlotte slaps on the sharpshooter on Natalya, and Charles Robinson, who everybody remembers him as Little Nature Boy, or Little Nate, in 99 during his run in the WCW, rings the bell prematurely when it's clearly Natalya didn't tap out. I wonder what that reminds me of. Oh, that's right, the Montreal Screwjob in 1997, you dumbass. Why do you want to rehash something that we don't want to remember? That's like watching WrestleMania 31 and watching you let Hunter kill Sting. Bury Sting with the golden shovel, with his WCW golden shovel, to bury another star. And burying Sting pretty much etched in stone the win of the Monday Night Wars. Why do you want to rehash shit we don't want to remember? Why do you want to go back and have something tainted again? Granted, it's probably going to be a good storyline, but who wants to fucking see that? That actually was dumb. That ruined a good match and potentially ruined Charlotte's momentum. Because here's a woman who busted her ass in NXT and can wrestle, and when you give her the Divas Championship when it was active, you gradually turn her into a heel, which is fine because she's a Flair. I'm used to seeing Flair, any kind of Flair as a heel, but it has to work. Charlotte's was working, but what you were doing was you were taking away her wrestling ability, which you don't fucking do, because WCW and NWA didn't take away Ric Flair's wrestling ability when he cheated. Flair still put on world caliber and 5-star matches, as we put it, and was the best worker in the business. A fuck you to Vince Russo. I'll get to that in a minute, or later on, excuse me. But then what do? You give her the Women's Championship, and then you gradually, but before you give her the Women's Championship, you gradually start incorporating Flair in her matches. That's a little excessive, because the Horsemen interfered, yes, but not every time. Not every time. J.J. Dillon would because he's an actual manager. But Flair didn't need to be in there all the time. He could be at ringside and do a distraction. That's fine. But don't need to interfere all the time. It was a little excessive. We'd already seen that before. You could change her up a little bit. So you give her the Women's Championship. The chaos happens at WrestleMania when Flair basically interfered in the match and made Charlotte retain again at WrestleMania. Then you do this shit. You basically, Vince, are potentially killing any momentum or any type of, caliber Charlotte has because of this shit. But in the intern, you actually are rehashing something in WCW that I thought was kind of funny, that I thought was interesting, which was Charles Robinson and Ric Flair being in cahoots. Because that's no secret. Because when he was storyline president in WCW, and he started to go basically crazy, started having the power trip and the power going to his head, Charles Robinson was the referee that he had in his corner, in his cabinet, as he put it. I don't know if he called it that, but you know what I mean, in his office or whatever. He was always the crooked referee for Flair. And he was called Little Nature Boy, and he even wrestled a match with Flair against Macho Man and Gorgeous George at a pay-per-view, which I thought was funny. It was entertaining, even though WCW was real wrestling. But it could potentially open the door for another match with Natalya. Although the ending of the match was awesome because it had Bret Hart clamping on the sharpshooter to Ric Flair and Natalya doing it to Charlotte, which I thought was cool because, like I said, Bret just got done having surgery, and I thought it was really cool that he was able to clamp on the sharpshooter, even though you could clearly see it didn't have the oomph with it that it used to, because Bret's not in the good condition that he used to be. But I wish Bret a speedy recovery, and I hope his cancer does not return, because Bret's one of the best technical wrestlers that I've seen, like, ever, besides Chris Benoit. Even though that's taboo to say, but fuck that, Chris Benoit. And I'll say it again, Chris Benoit. Because, I'm not going to erase history like Vince does. I'm not going to. But, like I said, and then they go on Monday Night Raw, and of course they called him Little Nature Boy. Like I said, it's potentially going to lead into something Extreme Rules. That's not etched in stone yet. It's not. It could be. But, it just, the match was not, it was good, but that entire ending just made it totally dumb. It made it pointless. That match was pointless. Because Charlotte wins by reenacting the Montreal Screwjob. Oh my god. Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Really. That fucking stupid. Damn, Vince. You honestly want to make your product worse? You obviously want to kill the product because you're just upset because Shane McMahon's making Raw better because it's been in all the papers. And speaking of that, on to the segment to where Vince McMahon chooses who runs Raw, Stephanie or Shane. Now, poor as I stated in the beginning of this rant before I started, Shane McMahon running Raw I thought was pointless because it proved that the match against Undertaker was pointless. Was I happy Vince was letting him run it? Yes, I thought it was a one-time thing. But no, he ran it for 3 weeks straight, and during the third week, Stephanie returned. And she told Shane that Vince was going to decide at Payback who was going to run Raw, her or Shane. Which, it had my attention. Everybody, including, the people sitting there, thought Vince was going to choose Stephanie. But he does something of the latter. But he does admit something finally, because he finally is not a liar like Vince Russo is. He finally admits that he don't care what the wrestling fans think. He cares about himself. Thank you, Vince, for being an obvious bitch. We already knew you don't care about the fans, because if you did, you wouldn't hold down your wrestlers or hold down any of your stars. Or potential superstars, as you like to put them. So thank you for actually admitting that you're a no-good, vile bastard. Even though you're going to say it's storyline, but we all know in real life you don't care about your real wrestlers. Or the people that can make you money. All you care about is jackasses who don't draw a fucking dime. They couldn't draw flies if they tried. Like Cena and Roman Reigns. More on Roman Reigns here in a minute. But let's get back to the segment. Vince basically says that, and Vince leaves both Stephanie and Shane in charge. The end result was that Vince renders Shane McMahon, Shane O'Mac, and Stephanie in charge. Okay, I didn't like that. It was like a rehash of fucking Bischoff and fucking Stephanie or Bischoff and Austin. It's rehash bullshit night, is what it is. It's rehash night. Relive shit that has already happened. He's done 3 things, 2 in 1 match. Who gives a fuck? But in the end, Stephanie and Shane do 2 things. The first thing they do, I'll get to here in a minute. But to go back to the Dean Ambrose segment, when Stephanie McMahon was the host, was the guest, Stephanie McMahon, per her being in charge now, canceled the Ambrose Asylum and brought back the highlight reel, and Jericho and Ambrose get into a brawl, and therefore could possibly set up another potential Extreme Rules match. Sorry that I had to wait, because I didn't want to give away what had happened before then, so I just segued into that and segued right back into the Ambrose-Jericho match from earlier to make sense of what I was saying earlier. So for you fans, I'm sorry for the confusion. Didn't mean to confuse you. Now, on to the fucking main event. For the WWE Championship, you got your fad champion, John Cena 2.0, and it sickens me to say that, Roman Reigns, taking on the phenomenal one himself, AJ Styles. The phenomenal one. Whomever he wrestles, does a phenomenal job. And that he did. Because Roman can't wrestle. He has no charisma. He had it, but he killed it. He's a powerhouse. Don't need to talk, but he does. And the fans don't want him as champion. What more does the fans got to do, Vince, to tell you Roman is not your guy? And speaking of that shit, that's all Roman's been doing since he won at WrestleMania. Is that I'm the guy. I swear to God, if I was in the crowd or an audience, I would super kick your fucking teeth down your throat. I would wire your jaw shut, Roman, so you'd shut the fuck up. My brother could super kick your fucking brains out and take your fucking title in 3 seconds because you were a powerhouse. You didn't talk much. You were an ass kicker. Excuse me. And then you gradually let them turn you into John Cena. I didn't see it because I thought they were going to change you. But then I started to gradually see Vince turn you into Cena. And when you won in February in your triple threat match, I already knew what the end result was going to be. And then you go to WrestleMania and you fucking beat Hunter, which was crap. What is Vince going to do? Oh, yeah, the first opponent he faces is AJ Styles. Yeah, I already knew what was going to happen here, but I had a fucking small hope, that Shane McMahon or Hunter was going to be smart and let AJ Styles win. But, like I said, the match was one-sided, with AJ dominating almost the whole fucking match. Roman doing almost jack shit. Sound familiar? Another repetitive crap. Starts to make his little comeback like John fuck Cena and becomes John Cena 2.0. And what's amazing to me is that AJ hits 3 separate finishers on Roman and he kicks out every single time. So, the first time, but the match goes through a lot of the debacle, which mostly happens in Roman Reigns matches, and I'm sorry to say that. It mostly does, even though I've been a fan of Roman up until this recent. Anyway, the match originally ends in a countout. AJ and Roman are outside because AJ gives him a flying forearm through the table. I don't care if they call it phenomenal forearm. I call it the flying forearm. Through the table. He can't pick Roman up because Roman's so fucking big. He rolls in the ring, count out. Roman retains. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, not again. Tell me this is bullshit. Tell me this is fucking stupid. No? Shane McMahon comes out, says there's no countouts. Okay, good. Match restarts. Then Roman does a shady tactic and low blows AJ in the nuts. Of course he does. He's a desperate fool. Disqualification. Then Stephanie comes out there, makes it no DQ. Okay. That's fine by me, and I'm sorry to say this. I don't normally like cheating, but in this aspect, I welcomed it. And out comes Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Or as they call him now, Luke Gallows. I don't care which. I'll call him either one. The Bullet Club members. Although I do wish luck to the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And every other member of the Bullet Club and the NWO. Anyway, they come out there and they beat the shit out of Roman. And Luke Gallows puts him on his shoulder and Machine Gun Carl Anderson kicks him in the face. And they're standing outside the ring. 1, 2, Roman of course kicks out. Sound familiar, fans? Starting to see a pattern, ain't we? Again. And what happens? Oh, that's right. The stupid fucking Usos come out. Who I'm tired of because they're fucking assholes. Because they want to go to Vince McMahon and want to hold down the Dudley Boys when the Dudley Boys in ECW would have put their ass through a table the first night they walked in the doors. And even though my brother-in-law hates ECW, he would agree. Because Bubba Ray and Devon have won 24 tag titles in their entire run in wrestling. 9 WWE, although it's 10, I don't know why they don't count one. 8 ECW and 1 WCW when it was owned by WWE, and then the NWA titles, IWGP titles, and the TNA tag titles. 24 of them sumbitches, and they say, oh, what gives them the right to be tag champions? All those reigns, bitch. What have you done? Nothing. But what do? Oh, they beat the shit out of Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Of course they do. Of course they do. To stroke Vince's balls more. To make Vince have a hard-on a lot more for Roman Reigns. Really. So Vince can warm up his dick and Roman can suck it when he gets backstage after the match is over. It's the whole reason he does that. To stroke his fucking ego. Because Vince is a fucking asshole. Anyway, the match goes on, it continues. AJ goes outside to help out his friends. Roman jumps over the top rope with the stupidest looking dive over the top rope I've ever seen in my life. Undertaker does it way better, as does Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Knocks them all down. When they get in the ring, AJ hits the 450 splash on Roman Reigns. 1, 2, kicks out again. Of course he does. Of course he fucking does. After he already kicked out of the flying forearm and the attack by Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. So, what happens is what happens is Superman punch. 1, 2, AJ kicks out. Of course he does. Because he's the fucking phenomenal one. Then the match proceeds. Chaos is ensuing. Usos and Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows are fighting. They go in the ring. AJ jumps in there, messes up. Roman Reigns turns around, walks into a fucking spear. 1, 2, and fucking 3. And the biggest travesty in history. Your winner and still the WWE champion, John Cena 2.0, and the bastard himself, Roman Reigns. Or Roman fuck Reigns. This is the biggest travesty I've ever seen in my fucking life. You want to make Roman Reigns be like John Cena, and the first person you make an example of is AJ Styles. And I wonder why. Is it because when he walked into the doors of the Royal Rumble and of your company in the Royal Rumble, he blew the roof off because the fans knew who he was, and it proved Average Gamer 96's crap was fucking bullshit. It proved that Average Gamer's rant was shit. That everybody remembers where he comes from. Even if it is in New Japan. So what do? He goes on to have a great feud with Jericho. They trade wins back and forth. You give him the title shot that he deserves, and then you fucking properly let Roman take his first golden shovel after Hunter, and you bury him. What the fuck else is new, Vince? Why don't you just add a whole bunch of golden shovels and line them all up backstage and let every single entertainer you prove kill every single star you have to make your product 10 times more worse? It's a fucking travesty that you let AJ Styles lose. Are you fucking kidding me? Vince, for the umpteenth time, even on Raw, the fans don't want Roman as champion. Give the fans what they want. You're standing there and you're fucking, and Shane McMahon and Stephanie are telling everybody change is coming. Change is not coming. Because if change was coming, Roman would not still be champion. And Vince you would not have stated there's going to be 10 more fucking years of the same repetitive bullshit. Because, Vince, you don't fucking see wrestling anymore. You're blinded by your own ego. You don't know wrestling anymore because you have writers on your staff that don't know shit. Like Vince fuck Russo when you had him. I mean, Jesus. I'm telling you, Vince. You want change? You're not fooling the fans. We don't want Roman as champion. We're tired of him. Done with it. Get rid of him, Vince. Let AJ Styles become the champion, for crying out loud. Let a real champion lead this company. But anyway, at the end of the match, it goes backstage to Stephanie and Shane. Vince said, was that a great match? Everybody says, yeah. Vince asked Shane if AJ deserves a rematch. In my opinion, he fucking does. They all agree and say yeah. So the match is set for Extreme Rules. But now what we don't know is, even though it was said it was an Extreme Rules match to begin with, now they're saying on the internet that we don't know for sure if it's an Extreme Rules match or not. But that match is etched in stone. AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules for the title. For the WWE Championship. So, on Raw Monday night, a match was made. 6-man tag. Roman fuck Reigns and the stupid-ass Usos taking on AJ Styles, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows, or Luke Gallows, however you want to call him, in a 6-man tag. And, of course, Roman Reigns and the Usos win. Of course. Why the fuck not? And then at the end of the fucking night, Roman Reigns proceeds to powerbomb AJ Styles through the fucking table because he sees the Usos hit AJ Styles with a steel chair after AJ Styles had the chance to bash your fucking skull in with the chair and chose not to. Your little shitty cousins come from behind and knock him and hit him in the back with it, and he was defending himself because they struck first like the assholes they are, and you proceed to get all pissed off. You spear him, Superman punch him, then you powerbomb him through a table, and you're the last man standing. Fuck you, Roman. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on, and fuck you, Vince McMahon, for allowing that to happen. And fuck you, Shane and Stephanie, for letting Vince do it. You want to bring us change? Don't let Roman Reigns be fucking champion. No more. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen, for Cryptic Gamer. And that's for Cryptic Gamer. He likes when I did that a couple times. I was hesitant to do it, but I did it for him. So, I digress, and I said it again. I'm going to wrap up this rant here. I'm sorry if I got a little deviated, and I'm a little different here because, I try to make my rants a little shorter, maybe, and try to go into more in-depth detail for some of the matches. All in all, Payback, it was okay. Vince, your pay-per-views need to get better. I mean, you had a knockout out of the park with the Royal Rumble after the utter failure of TLC. Your February event, even though I can't think of the name of it, and I apologize, fans. That was decent, even though the main event was terrible. WrestleMania, for the first time ever in its history, and as long as I can remember, was absolutely terrible. That was the worst Mania I could remember in memory. There's been very few. There were a couple of them that I could deem bad. This one actually ranks up there, and it's sad because it's WrestleMania. It's supposed to be your mecca event, but well, if TNA can do it, and so can WCW, so it can happen to you. And I honestly thought you'd recover with Payback, but you did a little bit. But your rehashing of fucking stupid shit that's happened in the past, made it an okay event. Letting Roman go over on AJ Styles was fucking dumb. That basically killed the event. With the effect of you not letting the U.S. title match fucking be on the main card. All in all, the event was okay. If I was to rate the event, I'd give it a 6 to be nice. I'd give it a 6 because there were some good matches. You had the Owen-Zayn match, which was the match of the night. You had the Charlotte-Natalia match, even though it was good, but the ending just totally nullified it. And then you had the Dean Ambrose Chris Jericho match, which I thought was good. It was decent. It was pretty fair. Because even though I hate Dean Ambrose, he is going to be a main eventer soon. And he does know how to wrestle now and fight. Because he's not slap fighting no fucking more. That was annoying. I hated that. And I just pray to God, Vince, that you fucking see the light. And to a personal note, to a couple people. One is on a good note. The Architect, Seth Rollins. It's been rumored you're going to be making your return to programming soon. I pray to God that you go to Roman Reigns and you beat that ass. And you get back the title that was taken from you. And on another personal note, Vince, fuck Russo. You've been running your mouth again, haven't you? I know for a fact you have. I have a response for you in a couple days. Because I'm going to do a little bit more reading of your little comment that was sent to me by one of my subscribers. Because my subscribers, they hear me. And they know my videos. I haven't said much about you because you've been keeping your fucking mouth shut and your garbage that spews out of your mouth. I don't listen anymore because you don't want to call out because you learned your lesson, I thought. But you continually run down superstars that you know nothing about and certain fans. And then when you're confronted with those fans, you want to become a coward. So I have a response for you in the next few days. So wrestling fans, beware of that. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap up my rant. I know it's probably running long, but not as long as my WrestleMania one. I really enjoyed having Cryptic Gamer on my show. He will be back soon. He's already said he will. He don't know when because his schedule has to allow him to do it and then for his free time. But I'm going to wrap up this Payback rant. Like I said, all in all, Payback was okay. It could have been better. I rank it a 6 because of some of the good matches they had and some of the good high spots. But a lot of the stupid shit that happened. But I also want to go out there and I want to wish Enzo Amore a speedy recovery with his unfortunate concussion that happened in that match. So, wrestling fans, YouTubers, and to my subscribers, I'm Hollywood Eric 86. If you don't know, if you like this, like and subscribe to my channel. If not, I do got a Facebook page. It's Hollywood Eric 86. All 17 of my other videos are up, including my heartfelt reaction to China. Check that one out. That was the most viewed one. I really appreciate that. But I'm Hollywood Eric 86. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening. Have a good night. I will see you soon. Thank you. I love you all. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye. I'm Hollywood Eric.